Hello, I'm Poi, and this is Shub and Girls Music Podcast.
When you want to cure your blues, just listen to our tunes and we will make them last. When you're down, we'll be around, 'cause we're the Shub and Girls Podcast.
Today I'm going to be interviewing lower sixth violinist Sophie. How are you?
Doing pretty okay. Quite nervous though for this.
A bit nervous. Don't be nervous at all. Honestly, I'm just going to talk to you about your experience and how you're such an incredible violinist at such a young age, really.
Okay.
So how did you first get into playing the violin?
Well, before I started playing the violin, I was learning the piano. I started that around age 3, but back then I was way more. Well, it was way more simple back then, where all I was worried about was learning the right notes, and then in the end I'll get this short piece that I can play to my mom, and it's kind of like a game to me in a way.
Yeah.
So, because you always get the sense that you're progressing and it's like you're achieving something. And I think because of that, I was also curious about picking up the violin. I'm pretty sure I saw it in someone playing it in a concert somewhere, and I thought that it just looked quite interesting, and obviously it was really different to the piano because it's a stringed instrument and there aren't any frets or anything for you to figure out where to place your fingers.
Yeah.
So I think it looked really interesting to me, so I asked my parents if I could learn that as well. So that's how it started.
Yeah, and also at such a young age, you don't really know where it's going to take you. When you're young, you kind of just take every single opportunity you get given. Like the same for me. I played a few instruments and failed at a few of them and really stuck with one. But when you're playing the piano and then the violin, it's almost the same thing in a way, but they're two completely different things. But it's all music.
Definitely.
So do you remember any of your early performances? What was your first performance that you did in front of an audience?
Well, it was definitely a really long time ago, and I don't really remember what piece I was playing, but it was probably a concert where all the students, including me, of my violin teacher back then, we all performed to each other, and yeah, that's what happened. And obviously, as my first performance, it was so nerve-wracking because all these people that I don't know who probably have learned the instruments far longer than I have. So it was, I was worried that I was going to mess up or they were going to judge me, but it went all right, I'm sure, in the end.
Yeah, and also, when you're so young, you don't really understand what you're doing, but you do. You just know that I'm going to play this piece and I'm going to play the violin and I'm going to play what I've been taught probably hundreds of times by my teacher. And then you just get in front of a stage and then you just start doing this. And then obviously when you get older, it progresses and you do these amazing things like joining orchestras.
Definitely way more to think about, like more elements are added into the performance as we grow older because we just think about what we're doing more, I think. Yeah. So that brings me on to, do you enjoy being a soloist or do you enjoy being in an orchestra? Well, right now I think I enjoy being in an orchestra more, but that's mainly because it's way less scary. Yeah. Because, well, you're not on your own. And in a way, you get to share the pressure in a performance. Obviously, if you're the leader, you have a way more responsibility because you're sitting at the front and everyone follows you. So it's like I'm taking a lot of risk, and if I don't want to be the one who plays the wrong thing and everyone else will follow me. Yeah. So in that sense, it's quite scary, but at the same time, I do really enjoy orchestral playing and also chamber music
Yeah.
ensembles. So, for example, I am in a piano trio, and I'm also currently doing a violin duet.
Oh, wow.
And I really enjoy that because you get to collaborate with people you are really good friends with. And it's also it's really different to playing solo because you listen to so many other lines and you try to integrate yourself within it, and it's really interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
even when you're playing in an orchestra, for example, when we played on the weekend, you're leader of our orchestra and you had your little solo moment, really. And even though you had your little solo moment, everyone was still playing behind you and everyone was backing you up. But as a leader, I can imagine, especially when I'm looking at you, I'm looking at you, I'm ready when to come in, and there are so many other people doing that as well. But you must feel so proud of yourself to be in control of everyone,
Yes.
basically, apart from Mr. Crackman conductor. But apart from him, you are in control of everyone, and everyone looks up to you. So recently you achieved a place in the National Youth Orchestra of Great Britain, which is amazing. Well done. But what was the audition process like?
So I initially applied for it because I was still contemplating whether I wanted to pursue music in the future and whether I wanted to do that after Sherborne Girls. And Miss Morgan, my violin teacher, recommended that I tried this because she told me it was a very exciting experience, and it might help me decide whether I want to continue doing this. So I applied for it, and the first round is basically I have to play 2 pieces of music of my own choice, and we had to play 2 excerpts that was provided by the orchestra. And so we filmed that, and I had to go through this application process, and I had to send it to MIO, and I had to wait around maybe 2 months to hear back from them to see whether I got through to the final round, which I did get. It was during the summer holidays last year, and I was really excited when I found out. But since I got through, when I got back to school, within a week, I had to go back to London to do this final assessment day, and it was terrifying because I met some people who were already in the orchestra in the past years, or some people who are also just like me, trying to go into the orchestra for the first year, and everyone there was really capable, and it was so terrifying. But at the same time, they had a lot of workshops throughout the whole day because the assessment day, it was a whole day experience where you had to play to the panel, and then but there was also different workshops, they were teaching you about good posture. They also tested a bit of your creativity because, for example, they gave us a prompt and we had to try and make up this piece that to the prompt, and we had to perform it to the rest of the group. Or we had this leading workshop where we were in a group and we had to try and lead each other using the excerpts that we prepared beforehand. And it was so I learned so much from that day, but I had no idea whether I was going to go through or not because everyone there was really amazing and inspirational. But in the end, of course, around 2 weeks later, I found out I got in. So
Yeah.
that's really good.
In that, you said you had to wait 2 months of waiting. In that process, did you think that you were going? Did you think you had a chance? Obviously, your parents supported you, and everyone was supporting you. What did they say about that?
I was really nervous about it, but I think I had an inkling that I had a really good chance of going through, because, well, I had some help from my violin teacher, who was really assuring, and also I did record quite a few times to make sure it was good enough.
Yeah.
And I had enough confidence in myself to think that I would be able to get through.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
So now you're in lower sixth, nearly in upper sixth, so you're nearly about to leave Shabangas. We've got over a year.
Yeah.
Have you thought about what you're going to do in the future? Have you thought about whether or not violin is going to be your career, or are you going to go onto piano, or are you going to do something else? What are you planning on doing?
Well, till now, I'm still struggling on that decision, because, well, pursuing music, I think, is really difficult, because everyone who decides to do that is really capable, and it's a really competitive industry.
There's so much competition.
I know, and I worry that I wouldn't be able. I'm not good enough to be part of it, but and I also worry about how the future of music really and its relevance within it. So because everything's really changing nowadays. There's AI, there's different music genres that people enjoy listening to, or there's more focus towards different subjects, and there's less room for really performance in a sense. But upon reflection, and obviously being part of my experiences within NYO has really helped me reflect on the fact that I really do enjoy what I'm doing. And if I imagine myself, what I imagine myself doing in the future, I can't really imagine myself doing anything else right now except music.
Yeah.
So because playing music is right now one of my favorite things to do, I think I will probably take the next step. So I will probably apply to conservatoires and see whether they accept me or not. And if they do, I might take that step.
Yeah, especially when you've got so many opportunities in front of you, and you've got classical music, rock, you've got all these things, and are you going to stick with classical music, or you don't really know yet?
I
It's
don't
hard to
really know
tell.
yet.
Yeah. And well, you're an incredible violinist, so you could almost do anything. But what you've said is such good advice for me and for other musicians that don't really know where to go, because I have no clue what I'm doing next, and with music or not, I have no clue. It's too early to say, really.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.